In 1945, 5 military aircraft vanished from radar with no explanation, no sign of a crash, and no trace. Now the question is, how is it even possible for 5 planes to suddenly disappear into thin air? What really happened to them? Is this a normal occurrence, or could something stranger be involved? Another dimension, a gateway to parallel world or phenomenon beyond understanding. Today we want to embark on a strange journey together and talk about flights that appear all of a sudden and for no reason. Stay with me for this video because what you're about to hear will amaze you. The Bermuda Triangle is famous in the public mind for its mysterious disappearances. Experts say this area stretches from Florida to Bermuda and Puerto Rico, but its exact boundaries remain a subject of debate. Some say the western border of this triangle reaches to Miami. Others claim it extends to the Florida Keys. Another group believes it stretches to the Gulf of Mexico. In any case, what everyone agrees on is that many incidents involving airplanes, ships, and even submarines happen in this area. Over 10 ships and airplanes vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. No trace has been found. It's not easy to ignore these numbers and statistics. Even though they're hard to believe, these strange and inexplicable events might require more attention and scrutiny. December 5, 1945. 5 Navy Flight 19 took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The planes took off on a clear, sunny day for a training exercise. But after 4 hours, these planes mysteriously disappeared. There was no sign of a crash, no distress signal, and nothing that could explain the reason for their disappearance was ever found. After this incident, the US Navy decided to send a rescue plane to search for them. And even more strangely, just 20 minutes after takeoff, unfortunately, that rescue plane also disappeared in a similar manner. Now the question is, why did these 5 planes and then the rescue plane mysteriously disappear on a day when everything seemed normal? Did something really happen in this incident that goes beyond a simple accident? Rescue plane destroyed in explosion in air. There were reports from nearby ships that saw fire in the sky. In 1963, the disappearance of 2 giant military Boeing planes made headlines. These 2 planes were Boeing KC-135 Stratotankers, actually refueling aircraft for the US Air Force, and their job was to refuel other planes in mid-flight, like flying gas stations. That day, they were on a routine mission and everything was going as planned until something strange happened. Both planes disappeared simultaneously over the waters of Florida at the heart of the Bermuda Triangle. Once again, there was no prior warning or emergency contact. Strangely, it was initially suggested that 2 planes might have collided, but the timing and location differences were significant enough to rule out a collision. No wreckage was found. After weeks searching, rescue teams found some scattered metal pieces. Uncertain they belonged these 2 planes. This incident is one of the mysterious cases in Bermuda Triangle. But while there are many stories about disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, various theories have also been proposed about it. Some people believe that these flights entered another dimension where the laws of physics work differently. Others believe that this area, due to its unique features such as strong ocean currents and sudden weather changes, could be the reason behind the disappearance of many ships and airplanes. On the other hand, some people look at the matter in a very scientific and logical way. They say maybe the whole thing isn't all that mysterious after all. For example, there's a well-known theory that suggests natural gases like methane might have been released from the seabed, which could cause the navigation systems of planes or ships to malfunction, making them lose their way or even crash. But there's another theory that really gets people thinking. They say that maybe the Bermuda Triangle is actually a kind of gateway to a parallel dimension. That is, it's possible that the ships and planes that disappear actually enter another world and get stuck there. At this point, it's not just about physics anymore. Now, metaphysics and parallel worlds come into play as well. But in recent years, a theory has caused quite a stir, that the Bermuda Triangle might be an area for time portals. Now, what does that mean? It means there might be some strange physical or chemical disturbances there that cause changes in time and space. In other words, when airplanes enter this area, they might be displaced in time and space. In that case, they would never be found in our world because in reality, they've been transferred to a parallel world or another time. But to be honest, I personally think there might actually be some kind of window there to another world. A place where time and space are intertwined. Now, imagine yourself in this situation for a moment. For example, it's an ordinary day, you and your friends plan a trip, and now you're on the plane. Then suddenly, everything goes dark. When you come to, you realize you're in another world. You can't remember your name, nor the people you used to know. Here, everything is different from before. Even the sky, the sounds, the buildings. It's as if you've come to another planet. If you found yourself in this situation, what would you do? Would you try to find a way back, or would you stay there and gradually get used to this strange world? Do you think this situation is scary or exciting? Be sure to write your opinion in the comments so we can have a lively discussion together. But the disappearance of flights isn't limited to the Bermuda Triangle. There are other places on Earth where incidents occur that have no logical explanation. So before we end the video, let's take a look at another flight that vanished for no reason, this time outside the Bermuda Triangle. One of the most famous and mysterious disappearances in history is the case of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370.
Planes go down. What planes don't do is just vanish off the face of the earth.
Airplane, which took off from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on March 8, 2014, was carrying 239 people. But an hour after takeoff, it suddenly vanished from the radar. No signal, no emergency message, nothing was received. At first, they thought it might have crashed into the Indian Ocean. But the strange thing is, there was no trace of it along the reported route. Finally, after years of searching, several pieces of his body were finally found on the shores of a series of islands in the Indian Ocean. Now, there are plenty of theories from technical failure and terrorist attack to even stranger ideas like hijacking and entering a parallel world. To this day, no definitive answer has been given for this case. And MH370 still remains one of the biggest mysteries in the world of aviation and air travel. Considering everything we've discussed, the mysterious disappearance of airplanes with no trace whether in the Bermuda Triangle or in other parts of the world somehow represents the boundaries that humanity still hasn't been able to comprehend. In this regard, Richard Weiner, the best-selling author of books about the Bermuda Triangle, says that we don't even know our own planet. That is, we know more about the moon and probably Mars. But when it comes to our own Earth, we have the least amount of information. Maybe one day these mysteries will be solved and the secrets hidden in the sky will be revealed. But until then, places like the Bermuda Triangle and the missing flights will continue to remain as frightening and mysterious puzzles.